It's finally out of the box. My Cricut Maker is here and I'm ready to get started to do some projects. So if you have one of these and you just broke it out of the box, or maybe you haven't yet, I have a video about unboxing. So watch that first. Come back here. We're gonna do our very first Cricut Maker project that comes with it, and we're gonna walk through it step by step and do it together. One thing about this machine is I think that it's kind of intimidating to open and then to actually use, which was kind of the case for me because I was a little overwhelmed with the possibilities. I thought that we could do the first project together and hopefully it's a success. I'm brand new to the Cricut world, so this is all new to me and I'm a beginner, like a very, very beginner. If you have experience with this and you have advice for me, feel free to leave it down below in the comments because I would love that. Inside the Cricut Maker, I walked you through everything that comes inside with the kit. There is a sample project in here. So we're gonna do the sample project to get started. And if I mess up, then I mess up and you can learn from my mistakes. Everything you need is in this little box here, plus the Cricut Maker. I went ahead and I plugged in the cord to the back power outlet of my Cricut Maker. So it goes right into the back and you just have to plug it into the wall and you get started. And you're also gonna need a device. And in my case, I'm gonna use a computer. So in order to get started, we have to pull out our materials from the box, which is this black envelope here that says materials inside. And then I also know here on the bottom, we have a couple things that we might need. I'm gonna need this black pen, so I'm gonna take that out. If you're gonna be using Bluetooth wireless, you will not need this cable, but if you are using your device and you need to plug it in directly to your Cricut, this is your USB cable. So this will plug in from your device to the back of your Cricut right next to the power cord. I'm gonna be using Bluetooth, so I don't need that. I'm also gonna take out this blade because I think we're gonna need it for our fabric. Inside our materials folder, we just open it up and then these are the things that we're gonna use to make our first project. In this case, it's a card, I think. So we'll just take these out and we're ready to get started. So I'm gonna open up my Cricut, which is beautiful. I'm gonna push the button over here on the side to turn on, which is the power button here in the top. Inside the box, we also had this envelope that said, open me first. And when you open it, there's these little cards inside that help you get set up. The first one says to plug in and power your Cricut machine, which we already did. The second one says to go to this website. It's cricut.com/setup. So I'm gonna do that next. And it brings you to this website, say, let's get started. And you pick which product you have. I have the Maker, so we're gonna click on that one. It says plug square end of USB cable into a backup machine. We've already done that, so check. Plug rectangular end of the USB into the computer. And if you're using Bluetooth, you don't need this step, but if you're using the cord, you definitely need to do this step. And then plug the power cable back into the backup machine and the power outlet. Done, and push on. We've already done that. And then down here at the bottom, click continue. So now we're waiting. Basically what they're doing is making sure you have the latest software and that your Bluetooth setup's working if that's what you're choosing to use. So you just wait for that to run its course and follow any instructions. And we're done. So now it's gonna walk you through the first project, which is this card that it's showing us here. So that gives you a good picture of exactly what we're trying to accomplish. So when I click continue, and we're gonna do this. All right. So it opens it up into Design Space, which is a really intimidating place right now because there's so many different projects and you kind of get that like scroll thing going on. But it looks like it takes me directly to the project that we're trying to do. So it tells me to click. I'm gonna do what it says and click and it brings it up. Here's the actual project. Now it's talking about all the details, and then if you want to make it, you go ahead and you say make it, which we do. We're gonna do this together. So it's designed it for us and it's actually putting it on the mats for us, and the mats came with the Cricut Maker. So first it highlights the material that we're using, and we're using a medium cardstock, which is the white paper that they gave us here. So we're gonna definitely need to take this and click on medium cardstock. Then it asks us to load our pen. I got our pen. Just gotta open it up and put it inside our machine. This spot right here is for our blade, and this one is for our pen. And apparently we can just open this up, there we go, and take our pen. Just put the cap on top, I guess. So we just place our pen in here until we hear it click. There's a click, and close it back up. Awesome. And if you forget, it looks like the pictures are right on the website too. Now it wants us to insert the blade, but our blade is already inside here, but you can also do it the same way and it shows you how to use this as well. So we're gonna click continue, and it's asking us now to place our white cardstock on the mat. Here is our light grip mat. It's in blue and there's a plastic film over it. So this is what you need to keep. So it's supposed to help protect the stickiness of the mat. So peel it off for the project, but remember to put it aside so you can put it back on when you're done using the mat. The mat also has a grid on it with numbers. These are in inches and it matches what you see on your computer. The computer is telling me to put the white cardstock and align it to the top left corner of this grid. So I'm gonna do that. And then it says to insert it inside the machine and push the arrow button. It's like a double arrow button up and down. Inside the machine, you're gonna notice these two little notches on the side, on each side. And this is what you wanna put your mat under when you're using it. So I'm gonna place it so it goes underneath there. Kind of helps to guide it inside the machine. Push the arrow button and it's going to feed it inside. Want to make sure that there's room behind your Cricut for the mat to go all the way back if it needs to. Next, we push go, which is our little C Cricut button here on the top. And there it goes. The first step is actually drawing directly on the card. That's pretty cool. It looks really, really, really nice, and I actually am quite impressed with how accurate this is. It's nice and clean and smooth. Okay, I think I already messed up. I don't know exactly what happened. So while it was printing, I noticed that it was printing on the mat. I don't know if you can see that right there. If a mistake ever happens and you need to stop printing, you just hit this pause button, which is exactly what I did. So I can feed this back out by pushing this button. And something didn't go right, you guys. So I messed up. My very first project, I messed up. So I'm gonna figure out what's going on here and see if we can make it right. I gotta figure out how to clean the mat and how to fix this. Take two, right? So I peeled off the back of the, I peeled off the paper off my Cricut mat. Turn your Cricut mat upside down and peel the mat away from the paper. It helps the paper not to curl. So I reapplied it to the mat on the back side just to see if I can actually print this correctly. And I'm gonna try doing it again, all over again. And hopefully it's gonna work the second time. Fingers crossed, you guys. It's going. Let's see how it does. How could I possibly mess up a second time? I don't know. We will see. Okay. So now this time it told me there's an error. So I technically had two errors come on my computer trying to reprint this twice. And I just tried to reprint it over itself and it seems to be working now. Technical error, I think maybe with the software. So I'm not 100% sure about that. But since it's a sample project, I think I'm okay with it. And we are doing okay. Right now it looks like it's working on cutting. So it did the first part with the pen and now it's doing the second part with the blade. Now that my screen is telling me to unload the pen and mat. So we do that by pushing the arrow button on the top. And then we unload the pen like we showed you how we put it in. And that part is done. Now it wants you to remove the cardstock. So this is best done if you turn over your mat and then peel the mat away from the cardstock. There we go. So there's some residue left over here on the mat. You can just scrape that off and then put your plastic piece back onto your mat. This is what we're left with. Peel it away from our scraps here. And this is what we have. It actually ended up working out not too bad because the mistake isn't on the paper on the back. And we did have some mistake here where I had to have it redrawn, but that's all right. I'm okay with that. Then we click continue on our computer and it wants us to assemble our project. It tells us that we're gonna fold the card in half. We're gonna insert the blue cardstock as a liner into the corner slot to cut for us. And then we have the beginnings of our card. Now we have one more piece left to do, and that's to put on our little fabric onto the front of our kite. I've been trying to research how to cut the kite out of this fabric, so the little diamond shape that goes on the kite. And I think I've finally figured it out. So I pulled up my image into the design space and it didn't automatically do it for me. So I had to go and search for it and find it. But then I have it here on my screen. And so I learned about a really nifty tool called Contour. contour. If I click on my image, it pulls up the whole image here, as you can see as I move it around the screen. If I come way down here into the very bottom corner where it says contour, and I click on that, it brings up all of the parts of that one image. So what I can do is I can click hide all contour, and there's still a little bit in here that you can see that's a little bit darker. And I just want the triangle. So I'm gonna highlight the triangle. I'm gonna get rid of this line here. I think that's it. And then exit out. And look, I just have my triangle left. So I could delete this, and I have my triangle. And this is what I want to cut out of my fabric. So I'm going to keep this here on the screen just to cut out my fabric. I'm going to click make it. I'm really nervous that this won't work. I'm going to take my mat. This one I need the fabric mat for, which is the pink mat. And I'm going to place it onto my pink mat in the upper corner. Then once I've done that, I need my fabric blade, fabric knife, I guess that's what it's called. So I'm going to take this out and place it inside in replacement of my other blade. So now that we have our shape, I need to set it to cut versus draw, because this is set for draw. We're going to choose the fabric selection so that it knows that we want to cut fabric. I'm just gonna say light fabrics because it's not a very thick one. I don't know if that's right or not, but we're gonna try that. And then it says to load our mats. A little bit nervous. Push our little C start button. Come on, it better work. I think the thing is with this, everything is kind of a trial and error. So if you make a mistake, it's okay. Just try it again and you're gonna figure it out and you're gonna be able to do it for next time. I think it's working. All right, now for the moment of truth. Did it cut, you guys? Let's see. So we peeled it off and we have a triangle, and then that can go right onto our card with some glue. Oh my gosh, you guys. That was fun and totally an adventure. I had a little mistake, but I got through it. I'm so glad that you guys are doing this with me. It makes it a little bit more easier knowing that I have other people out there probably encountering some of these same issues and trying to get it done. But we did get it done. We made our little test card, and I can't wait to start another project to see what we can make. So leave me a comment down below. Talk to me. Tell me if you've tried your first project and how did it go? Did you mess up like I did? And make sure to subscribe. I'll be doing more videos like this. Bye.